Hello everybody, this is Kweku from Next Gen Windows, here to bring you a first look at some of Windows 8.1's new features. This is a preview build, so not everything will be working properly, but we'll just take a look at what we can see for now. Now for starters, we'll start by taking a look at the taskbar down here. One big thing that you will notice that is there now is in fact this start button type thing, the start button. When you click on it, takes you straight to the start screen, and when you click on it again while keeping your mouse right over it, takes you back to the desktop. So it's a cool thing for people who have been wanting a start button for a long while. Now you get it, and you can go straight to the start screen with it. However, once you are on the start screen and you move your mouse away from it, it does disappear, but you can always click the desktop button, which for my computer at least I enlarged, and then we can just click on it and go straight back. Now another thing that you will notice that I'll show you guys in fact first is that when you right click, you click on properties, and then we go over to navigation. We can see some of these new options here. Now some of the options here, I'm not going to go to the corner navigation part, but down here for start screen options, you can see here it says go to desktop instead of start when I sign in. Now this is basically what they mean is boot to desktop, just like how you were doing in Windows 7 and before, how you booted straight to desktop. This is a feature, so if you check it off, it takes you straight to this desktop once you turn on your computer and sign in. If you uncheck it, it takes you to the start screen. Another feature down here is show my desktop background on start. So what that means is basically when I click the start button, you see my desktop background just darkens, but it's the same thing. So it shows the desktop background on the start screen, so it looks pretty nicely, just like it looks pretty nice, at least to me, with this car here. And then another option is always show start on my main display when I press the Windows logo key. So basically if you have multiple monitors, it'll always show the start button. It always shows the start screen on your main display when you press the Windows logo key. It won't shift it to the second screen. That's if you check it on or off. And then also show the apps view automatically when I go to start. So what they mean by that is when you go to the start screen and you click this arrow down here that's brand new, click on it, it shows your app screen where you can see your list of applications by different criteria over here, and you can scroll through it to view all the things you have installed. So basically that's what it means. You can go to the apps view when you do it. So let's say if I want to, let's click show these things. And then you see this new option over here that lightens up right here. It says search everywhere instead of just my apps when I search from the apps view. So instead of just searching the apps on your apps view, which you can see right here, it'll allow you to, right here is what I mean, it'll allow you to search everywhere, including files and everything like that. So that's a unique feature. Let's go back, and then let's hit apply on that, and then let's hit list desktop apps first in the apps view when sorted by category. So basically desktop applications will be listed first, just like how it was in the start menu, and then your Metro or modern style applications, however you want to say it, will be listed at the back of it. So now that I click apply, when I click the start screen, start button, it takes me straight to the all apps view instead of showing me the start screen. You can always go back to the start screen just by clicking the arrow or swiping up and down. So when we go back, I will actually uncheck that because I do not want that, and then I will just hit apply so I can keep it just like that. Now I don't see anything here that's pretty useful, nothing there, so we'll just hit OK and move forward. Now another thing you will notice on the desktop, once you try to go to the charms bar like you were normally doing, going from the corner of the right or any corner of the right, top or bottom, you'll notice that the charms bar actually is not centered. I don't know whether this is just a minor bug or something like that, they didn't set a centered command or something like that. But I noticed that when you take your mouse cursor to the corner, the bottom right corner, the charms bar is closer to the bottom. You see the buttons are closer to the bottom, so you don't have to stretch your hand and scroll all the way up. Now when you go to the top and you go down, you notice the charms bar buttons are closer to the top. So I don't know whether Microsoft purposely did that or whether it's just a thing that they forgot to fix or something. But again, this is a preview, so we could see some changes. Now another thing we should check out is settings. We can take a look at some settings here. You can see personalization right here. Let's click on it. It brings you the personalization screen on your desktop. But when you click on the start screen and you go to personalization, let's go check it out. Where is it? Start screen, go to personalize. It brings us to the start screen personalization, which allows you to change backgrounds and whatnot. So it's another cool feature. You can change the color of the accent and everything like that. I'm gonna keep the background, which is as my desktop background, because it just looks nicer to me instead of using these images over here. So I'm gonna keep this color here as, let's say, this darker blue color that I had before. So when we go back, and then we can also click on tiles and see what's new. That's the same basic stuff. Help tells you some help commands. Next thing we'll take a look at is settings. When we go to settings, you'll notice that the first thing I ended up on first is the app sizes, mainly because I had already opened up this application and I wanted to make sure this thing wouldn't load while I was recording. So when you open up this application, it'll start off on the main screen, which I'll show you in a second. But you can see app sizes looks like a different screen now compared to regular Windows 8, where it was like a tiny button that you clicked on. You can view app sizes down like that. Now, when you have a whole separate screen for apps, whatever apps you have. Now these are just your modern style applications. These are not your desktop apps. So, but you can see how much space they take up, and you can uninstall it if you choose to do it. Like if I want to choose to uninstall Rayman Jungle Run, I can do that. But I won't do any of that because I'll actually just keep them. You can hit defaults, which tells you, which lets you choose your default application. So if I want to choose my default music playing application and I want to make it as Xbox Music, I can set it to music and it's the default. Picture viewer, if I want to set the default picture viewer, I can set it to photos or whatever else I have. Now these defaults are not limited to your modern style applications. These are all the applications in your entire computer that can handle photos or whatever setting that you decided to choose. So for instance, we'll keep photos as the default. Now calendar provider, I have no calendar type of application, similar to like Google Calendar and stuff like that. So like my Outlook calendar won't fill out because I don't have Outlook on here. I have just a basic mail application. Now map address, this is basically means your default map application. So there are other map applications on the Windows Store. So when you have another map application aside from the basic maps application for Windows 8, that will be listed here as an option that you can choose as your default. So now that we've set that, we can go to notifications, and you can view all the little options for notifications here. It's a lot of it's the same thing. You can see which ones give you notifications and stuff like that. And then you can hit share, which basically talks about the share options, which apps are allowed to share items in the list. You can choose more than 5 items. You can choose 9 as max. You can show apps I use most often on top. And then you see here search history and stuff like that. This is basically the new Bing search. I will show you in a second that there is no Bing application that you can just click on the start screen anymore. Now it is built into the OS itself. So you just hit your search charm and you'll be able to search the web, your applications, your whole computer. Everything will be there just in that search charm widget by itself. But here in the search history search area, you can clear your search history, use Bing to search online. Here's what I was talking about. Get search suggestions and all this stuff like that. Your experience, basically it allows you to either personalize from your location using Bing or just personalize without your location, but just based on your other Microsoft stuff on your Microsoft account, or don't get personalized at all. Basically they won't look into your account to see the type of stuff they could recommend to you. And then you have your safe search filter. Everything here is default and when you install the preview version, so this is what you should expect your settings to be. And then when we go back to the general PC settings, here is the main screen of PC settings. This is the main screen right here. This allows you to edit. This is how the new settings looks like. Before it was just a giant white screen with menus. Now it has a color based on your accents. You can see I chose blue, so now we have a blue side right here. I think that looks pretty nice. And then you have your search button. You'll notice another trend On all of Microsoft's applications from I guess from here on forward, they will all have a search button right on the application itself. You won't have to go to the charms bar and hit search. You'll be able to just click on this and then it brings up search automatically. But you can see right here PC and devices. You can see little, you can edit your wallpaper, not wallpaper, your lock screen wallpaper, your background. You can make your lock screen show a slideshow. You can choose what applications have access to your lock screen. You can choose what app will show a detailed status. Basically, like if you get a new Skype message, you can set Skype right here. So for instance, you can see right here I have Skype. If I set it to Skype, you'll see that if I had a Skype message, it would show up on the start screen if my computer was locked. Choose app to show alarms. Basically, there's only one alarm app that I have right now, which is the Alarms app that came with Windows 8.1. So that's my default for now. So let's see what happens when I just click on it. Yeah, that's the default picture for it. And then camera, you can swipe down on the lock screen to use the camera while your PC is locked. Obviously, I'm on a desktop, so I can't swipe down. I think I can use my mouse and just scroll down or something, but I'll have to check back on that. Display, you can see right here the display stuff. You can set your display sizes and stuff like that. Before, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but before, you had to go to the desktop to set your display resolution. Now you can do everything in the modern UI. You can set your orientation, whether it's landscape or portrait, or flip landscape, flip portrait. You can choose the app size of apps and displays can support. So you can choose change the size of apps on the displays that can support it. So basically, if you have a display that is say if you have a 4K display, the size of the app will, I guess, scale to 4K resolution. Or if you have a display that is like that new Samsung display that's like 3800 by 18 something, your app will scale to that. So it's a pretty good thing that they have there. On to the next one, devices. You can see what devices looks like now. It basically allows you to manage all your devices, add or remove devices, download over meter connections. Basically, if you're the one that has like a prepaid internet and you pay every time you have a certain amount over the data limit, then you can set whether it'll download stuff over meter connections, which are those kinds. Save default save locations. Basically, save files to a removable drive by default. So if you have a removable drive connected, like say your 1 terabyte hard drive, and you set this up to save everything all your modern applications to that hard drive, you'll never see an application installed on your computer. You'll always see that it was installed on the hard drive. So when you unplug your hard drive, the applications go away. When you plug it back in, the applications come back on your start screen. So that's a pretty cool feature. Mouse options, you can set your primary button, whether it's left or right, left or right click. Roll the mouse wheel to scroll multiple lines at a time, or one screen at a time. Sorry. How many lines to scroll each time? You can set it. 16, 8, whatever it is. I'm just going to put it back down to whatever it was. I think it was 2. Typing, you can set all of your typing settings. You see how it looks like now. What I like about this is it's more clean now compared to before. It's just a white menu where you clicked on stuff and then something showed up on the side. Sure, there's a lot of white space here, but I actually, for once, I think the white space is good because it makes things clean and easy to see. You're not confused by settings. A lot of people, when they see setting screens like the control panel, they seem like overwhelmed because they feel overwhelmed because there's so much stuff going on. But over here, it's a lot simpler to see for the average consumer. Obviously, I'm not the average consumer, but it's a lot easier to see. You can see show search suggestions as I type. Now I'm thinking this stuff only applies to modern applications like Internet Explorer, the modern UI application. So when you type in something wrong, and say if you type in TEH instead of THE, it'll correct it to THE automatically, so you don't have to worry about your mistyping. Play key sounds as you type. This is all touch keyboard stuff here. And then add the standard keyboard layout as a touchscreen keyboard option. So all these little keyboard options that you have here. And then also app switching. Allow switching between recent applications. So basically, it allows you to switch between your recent applications. Pretty straightforward right there. And when I swipe in from the edge, switch between my recent apps instead of showing a list of them. So basically, instead of having this thing here, it'll automatically switch between your recent applications if you turn that on, which I do have on. And then another thing is corner navigation. Now these are like the hot corners that you see here, here, here for the charms bar, and obviously down for the charms bar. When I point to the upper right corner, show, search, share, start devices and settings. So if I uncheck this and I go to the corner, I probably have to hit OK first, but it will take away the search, settings, share, and stuff like that. Oh, the upper right corner. So yeah, you can see right here, when you go to the upper right corner, when you turn that off, the charms bar won't show up unless you go to the bottom right corner. But when I turn this on, the charms bar will show up when I go to the upper right corner. So that's a cool feature. When I click on the left corner, switch between my recent apps, again, that's for people who are using a mouse. This corner navigation is for basically people who are using mouse and keyboard, versus the app switching up here, which is more for like touchscreens, because you can't really swipe from the left and right and stuff like that. So if you have a touchscreen, this is more viable to you rather than this. And then the next thing we're going to go to is power and sleep. So you can see here, when plugged in, turn off after 20 minutes. I keep that on 20 minutes because, if you're not there for 20 minutes, chances are you're busy, and you might as well turn off on your own. And then sleep right here, when plugged in, my PC never goes to sleep after, my PC goes to sleep after blah blah amount of time, so you have all these choices here. I'll set it to 4 because when plugged in, my PC will go to sleep after 4 hours. Most likely, if I'm not around this computer for 4 hours or more, I'm not going to be around for a while, so a lot longer, so I'll just keep this thing, maybe 2, let's keep it for 2 hours. And then autoplay over here. This is basically your plug and play settings here. Basically, if you plug in a USB flash drive or an SD card or whatever, these are your settings for that. So when you put in a removable drive, take no action, open files and view folders, ask me every time, configure all this stuff, and it'd be the same options for every single one. So I'll put ask me every time. And then over here for memory card, turn photos into masterpieces. It all depends on the applications you have. So download images, you can see I have all these applications, so it gives me options based on the applications I have, so I really like that. And then obviously right here, these things don't have anything there because I guess if you have more types of media, auto plug and play media, which is like your flash drive or SD card, you could manage the settings there, unless Microsoft hasn't added something from there yet. And the last thing is PC info. You will see your PC info over here. You can see what brand it is. If you have a specific brand PC, you can see I have an HP computer. You can see the PC name. You can see product ID, processor, system type, pen and touch. I'm actually surprised that my computer supports single touch support, because this screen is not touchscreen, so it wouldn't make sense at all. And then you can see your version of Windows right here. You can see my edition is Windows 8.1 Pro Preview, and activation status, my Windows is activated. You can always change your product key and change your PC name just by clicking on this, and you can change your PC name just like that. But aside from that, that alone was the PC and devices, and we'll breeze through a little faster on accounts and stuff like that. You can view viewer accounts over here. Basically gives you options to change your photo, allows you to create an account picture using your camera or your people application. And then if we go to sign-in settings, you can say a strong password helps keep your account more secure. So basically it allows you to change your password or add a password if you don't have one. Picture password, which is basically what you saw in Windows 8 by itself. You can choose a picture, and then you can draw circles around or ovals inside the picture in a certain order, and that'll be your password. PIN password, it's basically straightforward. You can put in a 4-digit number to sign in. Password policy: any user who has a password doesn't need to enter it when waking his PC. Basically, if you're like using a home computer, if it's at home and it's a computer that everyone uses, any user who wants to wake the PC from sleep doesn't need a password for that. And then other accounts, if you decide to want to add a new account, you can see right here, I'm clicking on it right now. I don't know if you can tell that it's loading. But basically, other accounts will allow you to add a new user account to your computer and have more than one user. So now that you can see right here, for one, it just popped up. This is what the user account creation is. So you can either choose this as a child's account or sign in without a Microsoft account. So we'll click sign in without. Then you can see all the things that you can do with the Microsoft account. You can choose between Microsoft and local account. Local account basically just means you're not signed in using your Microsoft email address or whatever email address you have. Microsoft account means you have access to all the web features that Microsoft accounts allow. So yeah, that's accounts right there. We go to SkyDrive. Basically allows you to manage your SkyDrive settings, see how much space you have on your SkyDrive. I like this a lot. You can see how much space you have. You can see I have 22 gigabytes available. And then files, just like that. Allows you to manage your files. You can see how that looks like. I won't go through all of that because a lot of it is the same for Windows 8. Settings, it allows you to sync your settings across all PCs that are using SkyDrive, or all devices using SkyDrive. So that's a pretty good thing that you can manage right there. App settings, installed apps installed on all my PCs. Basically, the settings. If you change your settings on one computer for an app, it'll change on all the computers for that app that you're signed in on at least. And then you can view all the other settings for web browsers. Basically, this is all the sync settings, so you can sync your favorites, open tabs, and all this stuff. Everything here that you see, it'll sync if you choose to do it. Sync and backup settings over meter connections. I'll just even uncheck that because I don't have a meter connection yet. And then we can go to search and apps. You can see the search options over here. Use Bing to search online. It's basically the similar thing that we just saw before. I already went through this stuff. I already went through that stuff. You can go to privacy. You can turn on all these privacy settings here. Won't read exact everything. The video is getting long already. Location. You can allow location for certain applications, or you can just turn off all location off all applications. Webcam. Let's use whatever you can choose. What apps are allowed to use your webcam. Sorry, tongue twister. Can't speak today. Let's see, microphone. Basically, whatever apps are allowed to use your microphone. As you can see, I only have like 3. The Google search, because it has like a type of Google voice search that's pretty cool. Skype, of course, because how would you use Skype without voice except for through IM? And then other devices basically allows you to see other devices that you allow to control app access would appear here. Obviously, I don't have any other devices. Let's go to network. Network, you can see your network stuff. Radio devices, you can see radio and wireless devices if you had any. Proxy, you can set up your proxy stuff. Home group, you can set your home group settings here without having to use the desktop managing version. Workplace, if you're a business enterprise user, you can set your workplace stuff over here to manage things. Let's go to time and language now. You can set your date and time, or you can set it automatically if you have an internet connection. Region and language, you can set all the different languages here. Ease of access, basically if those of you with any disability, whether it's slightly blind or whatever it is, you can set the different things different settings for your computer for disabilities and stuff like that. Sounds you hear, voice, here's what's on the screen, basically a narration, having words spoken to you instead, or sounds you hear. Basically sounds you hear means what will the voice narration narrate you on. So basically you can set whether play audio cues with the narration. Cruiser and keys, you can highlight the cruiser and keys so it's easier for you to view if you have bad eyes. Magnifier basically magnifies everything so you can see it easier. High contrast mode, you can set the contrast. Keyboard, you can turn on or off on-screen keyboard. Basically, if you have a desktop with no touchscreen, this option should be off by default. There's no excuses because you're not gonna just click your mouse on the keyboard just to do stuff. Mouse options here, you can set the pointer size, whether you want it large pointer, you can see here, medium pointer. or the default pointer, which is the smallest one. Pointer color, you can set it to this clear color here. You can set it to the black one, or you can set it to a pointer that changes color depending on what you hover over. So you can see here I'm hovering over black, so the pointer turned white so that I can see it better. That's a pretty cool thing, but I don't want it. So we'll go back, and then mouse keys, use numeric keypad to move the mouse around the screen. If I turn that on, it allows me to do that, but I'll turn that off to do that because I won't ever use that. And then last thing, under ease of access, we have other options. Basically, play animations in Windows. Basically, when you plug in a device and it makes that one sound, that that sound that it makes on almost every Windows machine since like XP or 98, it'll make that sound if you turn this on, or any other sound that you decide to choose, or you can turn off sounds altogether. Show Windows background. It's basically, it shows the background, your desktop background on Windows. Touch feedback. I don't have a touch screen, so I won't even. I'll just turn this off. And then next we'll go back out of this and we'll go to update and recovery. This is a new update screen for Windows 8.1. Of course, this is all in preview again, as I say it. Windows Update, basically this is how you update your computer if you decide to not want to use the desktop version of Windows Update. File history basically allows you to back up your files and stuff like that, and you can select the drive to update all your history too. And then recovery, this is basically if there's something wrong with your computer or you just decide to want to wipe the whole thing. You have all these options that I won't click on because it might do something. It'll do something to my computer, and I don't want to wipe my computer yet. So basically, that's what you see in the new PC settings here. I'll have some other videos on the various other aspects of Windows 8.1 preview. Catch right back here on this channel for more videos on Windows 8.1 preview, of course. This has been Kweku from Next Gen Windows, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.